It's very nice to be back on your program.
Always a pleasure to see you
Right.
here.
Good evening and good evening, viewers.
Yeah, right. Before we get into our main discussion, could you just explain or clarify for the viewers, what are you exactly? Are you acting president, or we go by what your colleague, Honorable Chimbakambwili, said yesterday, that you are actually full president of the Patriotic Front?
It is not only Honorable Chishimba Kambwili who has commented on this matter in the manner that he did.
Right.
There are many other commentators who have commented on this matter. And one who made a very clarion comment was former Secretary General of the Patriotic Front in the name of Winter Kavimba, State Council.
Right.
I listened to his interview where he said that he had gone through the constitution of the Patriotic Front, and nowhere in that document is there any position as acting president. He made it very clear. There is no such position in the PF as acting president. And this is buttressed by Article 54 of the party constitution. And Article 54 is the one that provides for the duties and functions of vice president. Article 54D states very clearly that the vice president shall perform the functions of president in the event of death of the incumbent president. So Chishimba Kambwili and others are relying on the provisions of Article 54 of the Constitution. Now, when it comes to me personally, for me, there's nothing in the title, and I don't really I don't mind whether you call me acting president as you have done, or you call me president. What is important for me is the functions. What functions do I have? Am I capable of performing functions for the president, for the office of president? If I have that power, then you can even call me anything. Call me a sweeper. But as long as the functions I perform are those of president, that is where the distinction is.
Yeah, but you were appointed acting president, isn't it?
I was appointed vice president. And when President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, may so rest in peace, decided to go onto sabbatical leave when he said he had quit politics, he appointed me to act as president.
Right.
All right? Now, during that time, because he was alive, there was no way that Article 54
would come into play. Right, okay.
So, when he came back into active politics in 2023, I reverted to the position of vice president because he came back.
Okay.
Now, after the unfortunate demise in June this year, the situation changed totally. Then the provisions of Article 54D took effect. Then I started to function. I had the power to execute the functions of the office of
the president. Right. Okay, so even the title should actually be president,
Precisely.
Isn't it? Right.
Precisely.
So for our comfort, what should we call it?
I said already, I'm comfortable with either. Call me president of the Patriotic Front, call me acting president of the Patriotic Front, fine. But what is important for me are the functions.
Right, I think you've clarified, I think, for the viewers out there. Let's get straight into it. I think we get now into the gist of our discussion this evening. The biggest topic, I think, in the country today is Bill 7, which you fiercely opposed, and today was passed in Parliament. I think basically done and dusted. So what does this mean for the country?
This is a very dark day. A dark cloud has overshadowed our country today. A dark cloud in the sense that the Zambian people have been betrayed. Betrayed by the same people in whom they reposited their authority. Remember that legislative power vests in the people. And the Zambian people, through the Constitutional Court, declared that Bill 7 was unconstitutional. The court declared that any amendment to the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia must be through a people-driven process,
Right.
and that it must have a legal framework. Now, the same people who are supposed to ensure that citizens abide by, first, the law, and secondly, abide by decisions of the court, decided to go against both the law and the decision of the Constitutional Court. That is a betrayal of the highest order. You may be aware, like many viewers will be aware, that Celestine Mukandila and Munia Zulu went to the Constitutional Court to challenge the legality of the process that the UPND were using to arrive at Bill 7. Their attempt at cleansing Bill 7 by introducing the technical committee unfortunately fell flat on its face. Why did it do so? Because the process of any constitutional amendment starts with the people. And you set up a commission of inquiry, you set up a technical committee, which gathers views of the people. And those views are the ones that are used to draft.
Wasn't that done? I think there was a technical committee appointed by the government.
No.
In this case,
No.
Bill 7.
The technical committee was appointed after drafting of Bill 7. Okay? Now, what I'm explaining is that the process, the normal process,
Right.
which has been used 6 times in the past, is that the commission of inquiry or a technical committee goes out, gathers views from the public. And once those views are gathered, they are given to drafters, either at the Law Development Commission or at the Ministry of Justice. They get the views from the people and draft a bill, and it's actually a draft bill at that stage. That draft bill is then gazetted for 30 days. After it has been gazetted for 30 days, it then goes to Parliament for first reading. Then it's sent to a select committee of Parliament. That is when people go and make submissions based on the bill that was gazetted. In this particular case, the court ruled that Bill 7 was unconstitutional.
Right.
And one day before the court judgment, UPND decided to defer consideration of Bill 7. They deferred. They did not withdraw. It was still in the precincts of Parliament. They simply deferred consideration. And after they deferred consideration, they appointed this strange committee, technical committee, to go and do what? To go and ask people what questions? Questions of the bill itself. So, who informed the bill? It is not the views of the people. The technical committee did not come up with the draft. No. The technical committee was a witness to Parliament select committee. So they were there just like you and I could have gone there. They did not draft
The bill.
They went to submit on an already existing bill. So that didn't cleanse it at all. It still remains an illegal product.
But is this the only way to doing this? Probably they just took a different route legally to end up with a bill as they in this case. Bill 7.
The Constitution of Zambia reposits authority for interpretation of the Constitution to the Constitutional Court. There can be no better authority. And the fact that the Constitutional Court judges, the full bench, declared the process illegal, it remains illegal. And even what the Parliament did today is contempt.
Right.
It is illegal. They tried to cleanse the chalice, which in itself is poisoned. Not only the content, but even the chalice itself is poisoned.
You mean today, or you mean
today?
How did they try to do that today?
They did that. They went and tried to cleanse this by having members of Parliament to vote. But they are voting on a document that has already been declared illegal.
Okay. Right.
And that's why I'm saying this casts a very dark cloud on Zambia, on Zambia's democracy. it casts a dark cloud on the reputation of Parliament. Because now the people start wondering, if Parliament can go against the decision of the Constitutional Court, which institution will respect the court? Now, I have to state here that for us in the Patriotic Front, for us in the Tonse Alliance, and for many Zambians, we have lost this battle on Bill 7. We have lost the battle on Bill 7, but we have not lost the war. We haven't.
Could you just elaborate on that?
The resolve of the Zambian people in 1991 to reintroduce multipartism still remains strong in the hearts of Zambians. And you can pass whatever laws you wish, but if those laws are divisive, no one will respect them.
Yeah, but in this whole process, you have your own members of parliament who voted along, the UPND to pass this bill. How do you look at that? Isn't that an indictment probably on your leadership?
We in the Patriotic Front are very experienced. You remember what happened in 2010. 22 members of parliament went against the decision of the Patriotic Front with regard to another constitution-making process. Okay, so it's not new to us. It's something that we know of. It's something we've experienced. And the thing that I have to say here and make it very clear is that this is not an accident. It is not an accident. Those men and women who voted against the will of the Zambian people, do you think they were convinced today? When they woke up this morning, that's when they were convinced? No. There is more to this than meets the eye. And I can bet my last coin that this was an orchestrated program. You saw some of the people who were voting in favor of Bill 7 today parading at press briefings, telling the Zambian people, believe us, we are not going to vote for Bill 7. And yet today they became 10 courts. What I would like to inform the Zambian people is that the Patriotic Front and our partners in the Tonse Alliance will not let this matter go by. No. So we are going to conduct a thorough investigation so that we know, so that we can see the leads. Because this is a betrayal of the highest order. Not too long ago, just when the bill was announced illegal by the Constitutional Court, as leader of this organization, I brought all the members of parliament together, all of them.
Right.
And in that meeting, we asked one council to draft an impeachment motion. Because the Constitution, the Republican Constitution is very clear. If you look at the grounds on which a president can be impeached, one is breach of the Constitution.
Right.
And we said, if the Constitutional Court has said that Bill 7 is unconstitutional, it means the one who was leading the process has committed an impeachable offense. And we talked to all the members of parliament and gave them a motion. We said, go to parliament, sign this motion. Can you debate that you impeach President Hakainde for breach of the Constitution? Right? We did that then. And the motion didn't see the light of day.
But it was drafted.
It was drafted.
Right.
It didn't see the light of day. And
why not?
I have been asking all the time, who is it who sat on that motion? And why did you sit on the motion? It is now a challenge for us to go back to that process and find out who is it who sat on that impeachment motion.
Right.
Is it the reason why they sat on it? Because they had orchestrated this plan, this agenda? I have had meetings, more than 6 meetings with members of parliament. One of the meetings, or 2 of the meetings, I actually called upon colleagues, leaders of other opposition political parties to come and sensitize our members. We spoke about this. The Central Committee of the Patriotic Front made a resolution that we would not support Bill 7. Several press briefings were held by members of parliament assuring the Zambian people, not assuring me, but assuring the Zambian people that they will not vote for Bill 7. As late as last evening, we had our last bite at the sherry. And you remember that the national chairperson for the Patriotic Front, Honorable Jean Kapata, made it clear that whoever votes for Bill 7 must consider themselves...
That's my next question, actually. So
yes.
She did hint on the next course of action for those that are going to vote for this. Are we likely to see expulsions, as Madam Kapata hinted?
Hadn't it been for this program, and because we made this appointment quite some time back,
right,
I should have been in a meeting now. My colleagues have gathered. We're meeting. This matter is so urgent. This afternoon, we had a meeting with the Council of Leaders to handle another very urgent matter, and members of the National Executive Committee agreed that this evening we shall meet. We cannot go to sleep without handling this matter.
Okay.
So I can assure you that by the time we rise from bed tomorrow, a decision will have been made.
You have no idea what decision?
I have no idea, because I have to sit with my colleagues.
Have to sit in that meeting.
I have to sit with my colleagues.
Yeah.
Like I said, there is an interrogation to be made. There is an investigation to be carried out. But colleagues in the National Executive Committee will determine the course of action to be taken.
Yeah, the same Bill 7, then there's also Bill 10, which you championed. You know, in relation to that, there's talk to say, Honorable Lubinda is the same person that championed Bill 10, which, whose contents are similar to Bill 7. So why is he against Bill 7 now? What has changed, really? There's that kind of talk out there.
Two things must be made clear. Number one, Bill 10 was constitutional. Okay?
Okay.
Several people went to challenge Bill 10 in court. And the court said that the executive was on the right course. They did not declare it an illegal document or an illegal process. Okay. That's the major difference between Bill 10 and Bill 7.
The process.
The process.
Okay.
All right? Bill 10 was legitimate. Bill 10 was constitutional. Bill 10 was wholesome. It was not poisoned. Bill 7, on the other hand, is poisoned. It is an illegality, right from the start. As lawyers would say, an illegality ab initio. And if it's an illegality ab initio, it means that it's null and void. If a person says to me that this bottle is poisoned, it means that the content too is poisoned. And if I'm going to drink this water, it means that I want to commit suicide. So all those who went and debated Bill 7 are actually going against the decision of the Constitutional Court. They are attempting to drink from a poisoned chalice. So that's the first point. The second point is that the content of Bill 7 is totally different from the content of Bill 10.
The contents are different?
Totally different. In Bill 10, we did not talk about proportional representation. No.
But it's not the entire, the contents in their entirety now. I think maybe 3 or so.
There could be 1 or 2 which are similar.
Not the majority are similar.
And the question that must be asked is actually not to me. The question that you're asking must be asked to President Hakainde. The question you must ask him is, why is it that what you opposed in Bill 10, you have now removed, you have plucked from Bill 10 and put in your Bill 7? What has changed? Don't ask me. For me, I am saying the process was wrong. It was totally wrong.
Yeah, that's one.
Yes.
Isn't it? That's one point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the second is that some of the issues in Bill 7 were not in Bill 10. So you can't say they are the same. No. They are not a replica of one another. No. Like I said to you, we didn't have this idea of saying, I think it's clause 7, which I was reading, which says there shall be 211 seats
Yeah.
based on first past the post. And there shall be no more than 20. Okay?
Nominated.
Listen, no more than 20 women, no more than 12 youths, no more than 3 persons of differently abled persons. Now, what kind of law is that? You know, even the drafters themselves, what were they thinking about when they are amending the Constitution and they are putting words such as no more? And these are seats to be voted on using proportional representation. Once you say no more, it means that it counts from 0 to that number, to the upper number. Who will determine whether there are 20 or there is 0 women? Is it members of parliament? No, they have passed that stage. Zambians have been duped. Zambians have not decided that there will be 20 women. No, they have said no more than 20. So whose discretion is it then?
Okay.
Who's going to decide that? As Minister of Justice, I wouldn't have allowed this. Because you can't draft the Constitution in such a fashion. You give discretion to nobody. As for nominated members of parliament, you know who has the discretion. And that's why you can say no more than 10. Because the one who nominates is the one you have given the discretion.
It won't be the same person in the other case?
No, this is proportional representation.
Oh,
sir.
yes, okay, right, yes.
This is proportional representation.
Right,
Meaning every political party
Party,
will
yes.
prepare themselves to have a list
Right, no,
from
that's
which
true.
you can choose. So at what point will you say we want 6 or we want 10 or we want 20?
Okay.
And who is going to use that discretion? Nobody. You can see that this thing was just hurried and it is meant to suit a political agenda. It's not for Zambia.
Right. Now, I just want your comment. You know, there's been a video circulating as of this afternoon. You know, it shows somebody that looks like the Speaker of the National Assembly. I think as the House was adjourning, you've been a long-standing, you know, member of Parliament. You've been a member of Parliament for a long time. This person is seen to be celebrating. If indeed it's the Speaker, why do you think she should have been doing what she was doing in there? Is that a good thing to do? What would be your comment on that one?
Madam Nelly Muti has committed so many impeachable offenses. Many impeachable offenses. And this is one of them. I don't know whether anyone doubts the picture. Huh? That video that has gone viral, who would doubt that that is Madam Nelly Muti? Remember that parliamentary etiquette for Commonwealth parliaments, even just clapping is not permitted. You're not permitted to clap in parliament. How then can the speaker, the whole speaker of the National Assembly, show such bias to stand up and start dancing chikokoshi? Dancing, how? That just shows you how low we have come as a country.
Right. I just wanted your comment, you know, given your long, you know, time that you've been in Parliament, if you've ever seen things like that. Anyway.
I'll also just give you a few examples. Speaker Mwanamwambwa, may his soul rest in peace, and Speaker Matibini, even when they were smiling, you know what they used to do? You can go back to videos. They would always use the gown, the headdress to cover their smile. Why? Because the doctrine of parliamentarian speakers is that they must not show emotion. It is wrong for a presiding officer to show emotion. They must not show that this contribution by this person, they're agreeing with them. Yes, I agree. No. Speakers are supposed to be totally neutral. Even when it is a matter that affects them directly, they ought to show total neutrality.
Right.
And as a long-serving parliamentarian, I can say that what Speaker Muti did today is unparliamentary.
Okay. Let's move on to looking at other issues. There was an acquittal, or rather a dismissal of the DPP's appeal against your acquittal. What was your reaction to this? Did you see it coming?
I saw the acquittal in January 2022, just when I was arrested. If you recall, after being interrogated by the Anti-Corruption Commission, when I was going home, I said, I'm going to borrow the words of President Rupia Banda. Izi ndalama mwani mangirapo, nanga ndalama za nyoko. I asked in 2022, just when I was arrested, because I knew that I was innocent. So when I was handed the acquittal by the subordinate court, it did not come as a surprise, because it was so clear that this was pure persecution. Even the witnesses that the state had brought, they had no credible evidence against me, none whatsoever. You can imagine that they bring a person who says, yes, he signed an MOU. And when they were asked, do ministers write MOUs? No, they don't. Who is supposed to write the MOU? Permanent secretary. Were you not permanent secretary yourself? Yes, I was. Did you write the MOU? No, I didn't. Have you brought a copy to court? No. Why not? Because it's not there. How did you know about this? Because I saw it in the newspaper. No. Have you brought the newspaper here to come and testify? No. Why haven't you brought them? Because I was not told by SCC. Can you imagine? No. So, when I was acquitted by the subordinate court, I knew that I deserved to be acquitted. Right. When the DPP decided 1 year later, 1 full year later, to appeal my case, I knew this was just continued victimization. Mm. When the court, the High Court, called for the judgment, I went to court, and the court wasn't ready to deliver judgment. On the steps of the High Court, I told my supporters that I was innocent. And on that day, I was expecting that the court would hand down judgment saying they're upholding the acquittal by the subordinate court. I was very confident. Now, last Tuesday, when the court sat again, I happened to have been burying our mayor in Kasama. And my lawyer called, you are needed in court tomorrow on Wednesday. And I said, I'm in Kasama, there's no way I can come. And the court went ahead and delivered judgment in my absence. Mm. But I can assure you that when I heard about it, I was celebrating. I said, we have now come to the end of this persecution. And the team I was with asked, how can you be so confident? I said, I am confident because I'm innocent.
Mm. Okay, so you and your colleagues have on numerous occasions claimed that the judiciary is being weaponized to persecute opposition political party leaders. So with this judgment, does it still support that view?
My being acquitted cannot be...
Will you change positions now?
No.
There
are many other cases. There are many other cases that have to be brought into this for you to decide. Mm. Not just one case, and not just my case. No. I have said I was acquitted because I was totally innocent. There was nothing that any judge could have pinned me down on. Nothing. But why is Nakachinda still in prison? Why?
No, it's a different case.
When he appealed his case, he was convicted on a non-existent law. Non-existent law. Mm. He appealed. He said, give me bail pending appeal. He's still serving. What should that be called? Isn't that weaponization?
Right.
Can you explain to me, Mr. Shapolio, can members of the public discuss the matter? Why is it that when it is Munia Zulu who casts suspicions against another, he's arrested? and convicted. When it is a member of the UPND who says even worse than Munia Zulu, they are not punished. They are not arrested. They are not convicted. Right now, Nakachinda is supposed to get judgment on Wednesday. He's receiving judgment on Wednesday over his use of the term ubututu, ignorance. He was arrested, sent to court. We'll wait for the judgment on Wednesday. However, there is also another person who called, by the way, ubututu means ignorance, right?
Yes.
There's another person who said the people of Luapula have poverty of the mind. Poverty of the mind, for me, is not ignorance. It is just that their heads are empty. Now, a person insults the whole clan. Huh? All the people of Luapula are insulted, and somebody says, I'm going to apply for private prosecution. And the DPP says, no, we're not granting you authority for private prosecution. Why? Isn't that weaponizing institutions of governance?
Right.
So I still stand by that.
You still stand by that.
Whether the fact that I was acquitted does not necessarily mean.
It's just not one case.
No,
There's
it's not
several
just
others.
one case. There are many other cases.
Right. Okay, let's look at the PF under your leadership, Honorable Lubinda. You assumed leadership of the Patriotic Front and the Tonse Alliance just before the death of President Edgar Lungu. May his soul rest in peace. At a time of uncertainty of both for both the party and the country. I would just like to find out how it was like, stepping into this role at such a difficult time.
Let's take it back to 2021. I think then we will appreciate this better.
Right, right.
Stepping into the shoes of President Edgar Lungu was a very onerous task. Onerous because from being a ruling party, losing elections in the manner that we did, and UPND coming in and stripping us of all our assets, stripping us of all our vehicles, and coming into the position of acting president in a party that was penniless, no money whatsoever.
Can you imagine?
It wasn't easy. It has not been easy. And immediately after being made to act as president, there were the 2 by-elections in Kaumbwe. No money. All our vehicles had been confiscated by the state. And yet we were to win those by-elections. And I'm very dismayed that Aaron Mwanza today can turn against me, turn against the party, turn against the people of Zambia. And I mention him, I single him out because remember that he had campaigned and just before the elections there was a death. And the man had exhausted all his resources. To go into the by-election, I had to foot the bill. To date, I owe my family my gratuity, my last gratuity at Parliament. All of it went to support the Kaumbwe seat. It will never be paid back to me. And I thought that Aaron Mwanza will pay back to me by being loyal to the party and being loyal to the people of Zambia. Today, he has betrayed me. My vehicles were involved in accidents beyond repair during that period. So it hasn't been easy. I can go further and say, unfortunately for me, there was immediate resistance from a few people in the party.
Resisting your leadership?
Yes.
Right.
Right from the start.
Okay.
Your listeners, your viewers will recall that there was even a social media posting that Lubinda was being was summoned to go and answer charges by elders in the party because somebody was complaining that he's not consulting. My foot. The first thing I did after being appointed was to expand the consultation base of the party. I established the Council of Elders. I did.
Okay.
It never used to exist. And the reason I set it up was to make sure that when I have challenges, when I have difficulties, I have elders to fall on to. I established a standing National Executive Committee, which never used to exist. My predecessors would choose who to consult and when on what matter. For me, I decided I will not do that because that will give me too much discretion because I'll be choosing friends. I decided office bearers shall be designated as the National Executive Committee. And yet some people went around saying, Lubinda is not consulting, and so on and so forth. And since then, they have resisted my leadership.
The same people from that time?
Of course. And they've gone on.
Okay.
I can say to you now, I can say to the viewers now, without any ambiguity, ever since 2023, as leader of this political party, I have not seen the color of the money that members of parliament are supposed to contribute to the party.
That's since 2023?
Since 2023.
Meaning they've stopped contributing?
They contribute, and they have their own treasury.
Well, I guess it's the treasurer that is supposed to keep the money, isn't it?
But the treasurer is outside parliament.
Uh-huh.
The treasurer is outside parliament.
Right.
They make contributions and utilize the money themselves. You can bring them here.
Can you mention these people? All right.
The members of parliament.
I mean, the ones that have resisted your leadership from 2020, 21?
There are some members of parliament who have just refused to recognize my authority. And now I'm giving you an example of how the members of parliament in totality agreed that the money, the contributions they are supposed to make to the party will not go to the party secretariat. They will use it themselves. And that's the position now. So it hasn't been easy at all.
Right.
It has been a real struggle.
Yeah, because I could see... Sorry. Yeah,
yes.
Go on.
But I want to thank God for giving me the resilience that I have, the patience that He bestowed upon me. I've been extremely patient. Extremely patient. There are many people who could have been removed a long time ago. But I've said to myself, this is not my organization. It is an organization for the people. But obviously when people push you against the wall,
you tend to react. You're bound to react.
You're bound to react.
Yeah, so just to build up on the same, you know, the PF has faced, you know, parallel leadership, you know, structures, you know, rival structures, leadership disputes, all sorts of court battles. This, to people that are outside the party, looks like, you know, these are self-inflicted problems, you know. PF is fighting itself instead of focusing on the common political enemy out there. So what would be your comment on that?
Thanks to the structures of the party, the wards, the constituencies, the districts, the provinces, by and large, the majority of members of Central Committee, thanks to them. And it is only because of their support that the PF is where it is today. Hadn't it been for their support,
The grassroots, eh?
hadn't it been for their support, this party would have gone into oblivion. You know, as I do, as many viewers know, that the UPND government has put in a lot of effort to destroy the Patriotic Front. They have done everything in the book, but because of the tenacity of the members, we are still a party. There are some people, Mr. Shabolio, who in 2021 September Central Committee meeting, when President Lungu announced he wanted to go into retirement, they resigned. Some of them were on Radio Phoenix. They resigned. No, na fileka ile. Huh? Na fileka. And now, they are clamoring for positions in the Central Committee. Why? Because the PF has proven that it can't be destroyed by an individual. It can't be destroyed by an outsider. We have resisted the forces of destruction. And we have become even more attractive. How many political parties in Zambia would have as many people aspiring for presidency as we have in the Patriotic Front?
Yeah. Now, when you say, there are external forces, you mentioned UPND,
Yes.
coming in to destabilize the PF. One would say, hey, do you have that evidence?
Yes, we do.
Can you tell the viewers what that could be?
Number one,
Right.
nowhere in the world have you ever heard an opposition political party being allowed to hold a party convention on the day when they're celebrating independence. Nowhere in the world. It doesn't happen. Number two, you cannot distance the UPND from that convention when it was so very well choreographed. ZNBC outside broadcasting equipment was at State House covering President Hakainde and the guest president from Tanzania. After they finished the function, the outside broadcasting equipment was shifted to Mulungushi. And only when it arrived is when the convention started. Is that a coincidence? Up to date, no political party has been allowed to have rallies, except once or twice when CF was allowed. And yet on that day, what happened? We saw police vehicles, armored vehicles, surrounding Mulungushi International Conference Center. Hordes of police officers at Mulungushi International Conference Center.
So meaning
By the
suddenly
way,
police were available for
police
that
were available to protect that meeting.
and not rallies.
Not rallies. And by the way, this I've never said, but I'll say now. When I heard about that meeting, I mobilized a number of our officials. I said, go and attend, go and listen to what they are saying. When they got to the gate, who was screening them? Zambia police.
Not party officials.
Not party officials. Zambia police are the ones who are asking, where is your accreditation?
Really?
Yes. Now, add to that, in the darkness of night, fingerprints of office bearers were lifted. Even for criminals, they don't lift fingerprints in the night. But the police went and lifted fingerprints in the night. And what happened thereafter? They said they have gone to Registrar of Societies to change the list of office holders. We had to apply to Judge Katenekwa for him to grant us an order for the Registrar of Societies to produce the file of the Patriotic Front. And what did we discover? That actually, this was all a hoax. The names at the Registrar of Societies office hadn't been changed. And when we said this is a hoax, what happened? That poor lady up to now is not in employment.
The registrar.
The Registrar of Societies. Then there was a replacement. And soon after the replacement, the names were changed. Are you sure that these are not sufficient fingerprints of the government? You want more evidence?
No, I wish we had time, yeah. And these are matters that are in court, isn't it?
No, not this particular matter. The matter that is in court.
In terms of who is the legitimate president.
Yes,
isn't
that is what is in court.
Right.
What is in court is whether or not the convention that was held on the 24th of October, 2023, was legitimate or not. And you heard what Ngona said in court. Ngona was quoted by the press as having said, me, I don't even know how that convention was convened. I was only appointed Secretary General. So who is it who knows whether that convention was legit or not? That's the question that is in court. And yes, there is also a question about who is it that is president
Yeah, that's
of the
the question.
Patriotic Front.
Yeah, in your view, so who's a legitimate president? I know you'd say
How did you introduce me?
Don't tell us, tell the
Yes,
viewers, and
yeah.
give reasons why you should be the one that the public should believe to be the legitimate president.
Because even Miles himself, after he realized that what was happening was not in the interest of the party, was not in the interest of democracy, he came and said, Vane, I am handing over power. To who? To Edgar Lungu.
Okay.
He handed over power to Edgar Lungu, meaning he himself is comfortable. He is now acting Deputy Secretary General of the party. To who does he report? To me. So who is the president? Me.
So you are the legitimate
I
president?
am the
of the
legitimate president of the Patriotic Front.
Right. Is that the outcome you're expecting from the...
We are expecting the judgment on the 9th.
Right, of December, right?
9th
I
of
mean,
January.
of January, sorry.
9th of January.
Yeah.
And we're expecting that in that judgment in Kabwe, the judge will throw out the injunction that was granted to Chavinga. Because Chavinga has no locus. He has no authority to injunct us. And once that happens, then for us it's all systems go.
Now, this same convention you just mentioned, it's been postponed several times, and there are some members of your party that are saying you should just go ahead and hold it. Is that an option?
No.
And why?
No. As we speak now, our secretariat is surrounded by police. The day when the police went there, I was supposed to have gone there to address a press briefing. And the police called me and said, don't dare go there. I went to the police to ask them why. And they said, we have positioned police officers there because we don't want a clash between you and the Chavinga faction. Now, if the police have taken keen interest in this matter and they have become executors of an injunction on behalf of Chavinga, will they allow us to gather and say we're having a convention?
Convention.
Of course not. And some people are suggesting, in a very strange manner, they are saying, let us just go and gather. Under what name will you gather? Because for you to bring 1,500 people, 2,000 people together, you have to notify the police. Now, when you go to notify the police, who will you say? Will you go and say this is Lubinda family?
Right.
No. You ought to have an organization that's meeting. And if you go and say PF, what will the police say? They will say the matter is in court. We don't know yet who the legitimate leader is because the matter is in court. And if I go and tell them I am the legitimate leader, they will say to me, but there's an injunction. Should I go and say, okay, let's pick another vehicle, let's use this other vehicle to go and have the convention? Once we elect a leader under that special purpose vehicle, have you elected leaders of PF? No. You have elected leaders for that special purpose vehicle. So you can see these people are saying, let's go for convention now, let's go for convention now.
Yeah, they've been arguing to say, the more we keep on postponing this, it's weakening the party, it's weakening even your leadership as Honorable Lubinda, the party as a whole. So let's find a way of getting this out of the way and move on. Yeah. Do you believe, is it weakening your leadership?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And if there is anyone who is in a hurry, it is me. Because I'm also getting sick and tired of people saying, "Hey, Katididefye, hey, Katididefye." Hey, Katididefye, why? Because they're saying, no, we didn't elect him. I am in a hurry. I would like that the people, the owners of the party, decide on the leadership of the party. So that the person who is elected shall not be told, "Hey, Katididefye." When I make a decision, they say he has no power to make a decision. I mean, if an organization is indecisive, you can't make progress.
Yeah.
So it is in the interest of democracy that we have the convention. The postponement in 2023, I would like to speak about that. The postponement in 2023 was occasioned by the fact that the date that we had set for the constitutional conference, what we had decided was we'll have a constitutional conference back to back with the elective conference. The date that was set, unfortunately, coincided with the date of the Umutomboko.
Okay.
And it also coincided with President ECL's visit to the Catholic Church in Katete. And members of the NEC and the Central Committee said, we cannot possibly move ahead with the convention when we have these two major events.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the members of the party will be at Umutomboko, others will be with the president. That's how it was postponed. It wasn't my decision. Now, scared little men in the party always find pleasure in blaming me.
Mm.
Huh? On the 29th of November, we had agreed, let's go, 29th of November, let's go and have a convention. Huh? Only after that date was announced is when I also declared interest. Because then I said, yes, 29th of November is coming. I also want to express interest. You heard about the meeting that was held between all the 9 presidential candidates except Mudolo, who didn't attend because of the jurisdiction where he is.
Right.
9 presidential candidates met with some of the members of the Council of Elders. And in that meeting, a decision was made by the presidential candidates. And by the way, if you speak to any one of them, they will tell you that I was mute.
Mm.
I was totally mute.
That decision made to do what?
The decision was arrived at to postpone the...
Okay.
And who announced it? It wasn't...
It was, I think, Makebi Zulu?
Makebi Zulu.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Right.
but they will still go around and say, it is Lubinda. No, please, for once, be honest.
Yeah. Even
So I am the one who is in a hurry. I would like the convention to be held and held now. But it cannot be held under the circumstances that are prevailing. It cannot. Let us make sure that these circumstances are cleared. And I am also on record as having said, if indeed it becomes clear that we will not be handed back the documents which create the PF, I'll be the first one to say, brothers and sisters, if you're driving or you're paddling in a canoe and you see that the canoe has holes and it's sinking, and there's another canoe that is coming by, what do?
you jump into
You jump into the other canoe
Right.
and move on.
So we have a canoe that...
There are many.
Okay.
There
Not
are
yet.
many.
All right. Tonsi Alliance, members, some of them, they've opted to leave. They claim that the PF is holding the alliance, hostage. You have not been able to provide a name of a person that can be considered, among others, to be presidential candidates for 2026. What would be your comment on that?
We cannot provide a presidential candidate for the Tonse Alliance before we provide a presidential candidate for the PF.
Yes, that's the thing. Your delays in the PF are now affecting the alliance. The alliance cannot progress because you're not just putting your house in order.
All those who are genuine members of the Tonse Alliance, who subscribe to the documents that bring us together, agree that the Patriotic Front must first elect its president. And the circumstances which are stopping the Patriotic Front from electing their president must be recognized by all genuine members of the Tonse Alliance. Because we can't do it any other way. We cannot just impose a presidential candidate on the PF. We can't. The people have to elect a presidential candidate in accordance with Article 52 of our Constitution. And that can only be done at a convention, at a properly convened convention. Only then can we go to the Tonse and say this is the presidential candidate of the PF.
Yeah, maybe they're uncomfortable. Time is moving. We only have maybe, 8 months or so before the next general elections.
So
they are worried. PF, please, can you...
We are equally worried.
Right.
As PF, we're equally worried. We would have hoped to hold the convention much earlier. But the circumstances, I'm afraid, don't permit. You know, and 9th of January is 3 weeks away. If somebody was to come to me now and suggest, let's select another special purpose vehicle and abandon the PF, I would say to them, aren't we working emotionally? Why don't we wait for the 3 weeks and see what the court will say on the 9th?
Right.
And after the 9th, then let's make the decisions. Let's make the radical decisions on the 9th, after the judgment.
Okay, right. So yeah, beyond politics, there's also, there's this now deeply emotional national issue, 6 months after the death of President Edgar Lungu, Zambia still awaits his burial. The PF is accused of politicizing this matter. How do you respond to that?
The PF has always been very clear on this matter. Very, very clear. And our position has been that as a political party, we respect the will of the late president, which was expressed by the family. And we also respect the decisions made by the family. We are not in a position to evaluate the decisions. No. Because I said before on a program on Prime TV that any human being is a gift from God. And God chooses the parents through whom to give that gift.
Right.
And the family later on chooses whether to allow that person to go and participate in public affairs. So every human being belongs first and foremost to God, and secondly to their family, before they belong to a political party or to a government. And in this particular case, when a person dies, who is the owner of the body? It can't be the public. No. It can't be government. No. It can't be PF. No. From dust you came, to dust you shall go. And the soul goes where? To the Creator. And that Creator made that person to come through the parents, to come through a family. So in similar vein, when that person finishes their duty on earth, as their soul returns to the Creator, the body also goes back to the family. It is the family which decides. And this is the reason why we cannot question the family's decisions. We will stand by their decisions and support them all the way. So there is no politicization by the Patriotic Front. I don't think you have ever heard the Patriotic Front make any comment on whether to bury or not to bury, where to bury or where not to bury. We have always said we shall be guided by the family.
Yeah, but suggestions have continued saying the PAF is doing this and delaying this whole thing. I think last week we even had traditional leaders commenting on this, accusing the PF benefiting politically from this. How are you benefiting?
How can we possibly benefit? How can we benefit when we are in mourning constantly? Every time when we meet our people, the first thing we have to talk about is the demise of the president. How are we benefiting? No politician can say they are benefiting from the demise of another. If there is anyone who's benefiting from this, it's the UPND.
How exactly do you
Because when we were mourning, what were they doing? Mobilizing. They won in Fue because the leaders of the Patriotic Front were in South Africa. We didn't go to campaign, in Lumezi. We didn't go to campaign in Lumezi. We were all in South Africa, hoping that we'd bury the remains of our dear departed president. Did they go there themselves? No. They were campaigning in Lumezi. We are in mourning. Surely can anybody say that the family of Edgar Lungu is benefiting from this?
No, the PF.
But the PF is also a family.
Okay.
It's an extended family.
Okay, right.
It's an extension of the Lungu family.
Right, okay.
We would have been in a better place had we buried our dear departed president. Now, even just to talk about the convention, some people are even saying, why do you want to succeed a man you have not yet buried? That's what they're questioning. Lubinda, why are you in a hurry? You want to take over when the former president's body is still lying in the mortuary. So we cannot benefit anything. We are actually suffering as a result of this.
In the interest of ending this whole thing, is there what do I call a compromise that you may have suggested as PF, if any?
We haven't suggested anything at all. Like I said, we have remained
to
mute.
end the standoff.
No, we cannot suggest anything. And I've said to my colleagues, it is not within our power to make any suggestion. Yes, President Lungu impacted on the party. And yes, his demise has impacted on the party. Yes, some of his desires have not been achieved. President Edgar Lungu laid his life in pursuit of what? Democracy. The reason why Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu was not taken to South Africa, according to Attorney General Kavesha Mulilo, the papers he filed in South Africa, was that they, one, feared that he was going to politic. Two, that he never disclosed the nature of illness. That they stopped him from meeting in churches because he was politicking. And they are stopping him from receiving medical attention is what created death. If I say to you, I'm sick, if you're a genuine human being, the first thing you do is, can I rush you to the hospital? But if you stop me, you go and lock the gate and you say, no, just sit here because I'm interviewing you and I die, who would have caused the death? You who stopped me. Right. So there's no way that we can celebrate this. We are being agonized by the death of our dear departed president. We're in anguish.
Yeah, I understand. It's quite an emotive subject. Let's return to politics. There's several PF members, your colleagues, that are preparing to challenge you for the party presidency. Why should PF members choose you?
There are many reasons. I think that my experience speaks for itself. Number two, how many others would have managed to hold this party together under such difficult circumstances as I have done? How many would have been willing to sacrifice to the extent that I have sacrificed? Among the candidates would say they know the party better than I. But also, how many would claim to be as versatile as I am and to be as well known as I am? Go to any part of the country. Put me there. There will be people who say, there is a Zayelo, uyo twamumona Zayelo. And this is, I suppose, the reason why I'm a victim of beatings. I go to Kabwe to address a meeting.
The latest beating, the Kabwe one.
Yes, I go to Kabwe to address a meeting. In the same hall in which others also went to have meetings, I am beaten. The others who come after me are not beaten. The ones who were before me were not beaten. I go to Ndola. I arrive at our own secretariat in Ndola. The previous 2 days, there was somebody there, 22 hours addressing the meeting. Because of my beating in Kabwe, I arrive in Ndola late. The members are waiting for me. I arrive there, less than 20 minutes later, more than 40 police officers in uniform come and surround the secretariat in Ndola. And they even ask, Arikwisa? Why is that? Why is that?
So your colleagues are the ones...
I don't know. I'm just saying how well
what are you reading into
I am, how popular I am.
Right.
such that even state police will stop me from having meetings.
Right. Now,
Huh? And that wasn't the only time. When I went to Solwezi, a similar thing happened. When I went to Livingston, a similar thing happened. When I went to, when I was beaten in Kabwe, 2 days prior to my beating, an uncle of mine died. And because we'd already informed people and so on, I thought I would go and visit the burial site later. And after that beating, I decided, let me go and pay my respects to my late uncle. And a few colleagues of mine joined me. We went to Kaoma. And after Kaoma, I decided I'll go to the village. I went to my village in Mupolota, in Kalabo. But before going to my village, I went into Kalabo town to go and fuel up. You can't believe that police were looking for me. Where is he?
Now, my director is just indicating that we need to start winding up. Yeah,
so
we've got a lot of issues.
Yes, I present a pair of stable hands.
Right.
And the party has not been rocked to an extent where you lose members. Instead, more and more members are coming. And during my reign, the party has become so attractive that many people want to come and take over. Had it been in ruins, not so many people would have wanted to vie. Nobody wants to come and take a broken down vehicle, so they start paying for repairs. No.
Right. Now, Honorable Lubinda, recently you removed several of your colleagues from their party positions. Is that not what one might call your own political engineering, so that you continue holding on to your position?
That can be.
Does it have any basis in terms of the constitution of the party?
It can't be more absurd. This is an absurdity. How could I be feathering my nest by appointing competitors? Brenda Nyirenda was not a competitor. I removed her and replaced her with who? Miles Samba, who is a competitor. How could I be feathering my nest? Matafwali, whom I made youth chairman, youth chairman, is a non-supporter of Chishimba Kambwili. Even now, Matafwali is the one who's guarding Chishimba Kambwili wherever he goes. Am I feathering my nest?
Chishimba Kambwili is one of the competitors.
Chishimba Kambwili is one of the competitors. Look at the person who I appointed as the provincial chairman, Forbes Mufwaya. He's not my supporter. Forbes Mufwaya was district chairman in 2014, was it? When Miles Sampao stood as mayor of Lusaka. Forbes Mufwaya, together with Davis Mwila, are the ones who wanted Jean Kapata, Nkanduluo, myself, and Sichalwe to be removed. Why? Because they said we were supporting Miles Sampa. Now, Forbes Mufwaya is not my supporter, but I made him provincial chairman for Lusaka. So it is a mark of insincerity for anyone to claim that I'm feathering my nest, I'm bringing my own supporters.
Oh, yeah.
I am actually bringing rivals. You remember that I am the one who decided that Chitalu Chilufya, Katotobwe, must also be brought into the Central Committee. When I realized that all the others were members of the Central Committee, all the other presidential aspirants were members of the Central Committee, the ones who were outside were four: Monde, Chitalu Chilufya, Katotobwe, and Mudolo. I first appointed Monde. There was no hue and cry. Then I came and appointed these two, and I said I couldn't appoint Mudolo because he is not resident in Zambia.
Right.
I appointed these two. And Mr. Davis Mwila
So why has there been all this talk? Are you backed by the Constitution?
Yes, of course.
What clause is that?
Article 61J of the Constitution empowers the President to take decisions which, in his opinion, that's what it says, decisions which, in his opinion, are to protect the security or development of the party. And my opinion is my opinion. It's not subject to verification by anybody. I don't have to go to anybody and say, this is my opinion. Can you tell me if my opinion is good? No. It does not say he will consult. It says, 61J says the president of the party.
61J.
Yes.
Right. And then there are claims, persistent claims that you are actually ineligible to contest the Republican presidency. Could you just clarify this with reference to some clauses, maybe from the Republican Constitution, that will help you, or allay these speculations or claims that people are making out there?
The original Constitution of Zambia, the 1964 Constitution, was amended in 1996 to bar one person, Kenneth David Kaunda. Right. When Chiluba decided that the Constitution must say for you to qualify as president, both your parents must be Zambians. That's what it said. 2016, the Constitution was amended yet again. And the current Constitution, on the qualification of president, it's very clear. The qualification is that you must be a Zambian by birth or a Zambian by descent.
Which of the two are you there?
Both.
You're Zambian by birth and descent.
Yes.
Right.
And, sometimes I even wonder, is this the reason why we made some of the mistakes that we're making as government? That we have people who are ministers and they can't even read and interpret the Constitution.
Okay, so you cited some clause in the Republican Constitution, eh?
Yes, I think I can find it very quickly.
Yeah, I think I have a copy.
You have a copy, very good.
It should be this one, 100.
100, yes. A person qualifies to be nominated as a candidate for election as president if that person, A, is a citizen by birth or descent. It does not say that this person, their parent must be Zambian. It doesn't say that. It just says the person himself must be a citizen by birth or descent. What this means is that even a daughter of a Norwegian mother and a South African father, as long as they're born in Zambia, they qualify. Okay. That's what it says, plain and clear.
Birth and descent, right?
No, it says birth
or descent. Okay.
Not and.
It's or descent.
Or descent.
Right. So one of the two.
Citizen by birth or descent. Meaning, you can also you can qualify if you are born in America, but your parents or one of your parents is Zambian.
Right, okay.
As easy as that. And for me...
You've been very quiet on it, and people
because
will now say...
I don't like to waste time. I mean...
For too long, and the claims kept on flying. Now, quickly, as we wind up, tomorrow nominations in Chawama, what's PF's strategy there?
It's already in the public domain that FDD is the vehicle we shall use for the Chawama by-election.
Okay.
We have a candidate. We actually have two candidates, and one of them will file in nominations tomorrow. And I'd like to appeal to members of the council, the Tonse Council of Leaders, and all organizations and parties within the Tonse to turn up at 9 hours so to escort our candidate, whom we shall unveil at the nomination center. And again, this is a by-election that, as far as I am concerned, was totally uncalled for. Totally uncalled for. And one that exposes our inhumanity as a people. For Parliament to decide to declare that seat vacant when the circumstances around Tasila Lungu are very well known to everybody. Tasila Lungu was and is still mourning her dear father. As everybody is aware, a funeral does not end until after you've buried. For as long as the body is still in the morgue, you are in mourning. And some people in Parliament wanted that Tasila Lungu must abandon her father's body, to go into Parliament, to go and drink water and to shout, "Here, here." Who does that? And I would like to ask those parliamentarians to search their conscience. Would they do that? Would any one of them do that? Would the presiding officers themselves do that?
Right.
No. That is a mark of inhumanity. And I feel for Tasila Lungu. But the only thing I can say is that her Creator in heaven will wipe her tears.
You said two candidates for the Chawama by-election. Why or how? Two?
Because we cannot be too sure with these Mingalato people.
Okay.
We saw what happened in Mfue.
Right.
And we have seen their attempts in many other places where they actually capture our candidates. So we just want to make sure. And this is the reason why we have not unveiled our candidate yet.
Okay. Right. So as we come to a close, just if history had to be written, how would you want Give Lubinda to be remembered?
As a person who stood for the truth. A person who offered himself to the service of mankind, to the service of the people. As a person who enjoys creating peace wherever he goes. This is the reason why I hate hooliganism. I detest cadreism. Wherever I go, I cherish peace. I've been told in the recent past, please have security around you. And I've always said, the best security I have is my peaceful nature. I will not hit back. The Cabo incidents, I had members there, and they were willing to fight. But you saw the video. I was being dragged like a lamb. I did not hit back. I did not insult. Because I thought that the people who were doing that to me should realize that they are injuring an innocent person, a non-violent person. And I want to be remembered for preaching love.
Right, right.
I want to be remembered for a person who speaks for the people. That is what I would like to be remembered by.
Right. Finally, in 2 minutes, what would be your message to President Hakainde Hichilema and your fellow opposition political party leaders? Maybe as you look into that camera.
First, I think more important is to give a message to my colleagues, opposition leaders. I think they're the ones who may listen to me. My dear brothers and sisters, Zambia needs us all. But more so, we need Zambia more. And Zambia is yearning for change in 2026. But that change cannot be brought about on its own. Power shall not be given to us on a silver platter. Power must be wrestled. Especially when you have a leader such as Hakainde Hichilema. Power has to be fought for. And indeed, you may run very fast, but you not go very far if you're running alone. If you want to go far, run with others. And we in the Patriotic Front are happy to be in the Tonse. It is just saddening that there are other alliances being formed. Instead of strengthening one alliance, now we are creating other alliances. We don't have the time. We don't have the time at all. We all have to come together. I was in a discussion with 2 other presidents, opposition presidents, who are not part of Tonse. And we had a very cordial discussion, albeit late in the day. I am hoping that colleagues will be in agreement with us that we forge together as one united opposition. For President Hakainde Hichilema, I would like to suggest to him, my brother Hakainde, this country is for us all of us. We're equal owners of this country. And when you govern as though you are deaf to the plight of others, you govern only for yourself, then you misgovern people. Bill 7, which you have pushed through Parliament, I can assure you, my dear brother, will haunt you. I did say in 2020, when you took all your members of Parliament and quarantined them at your house, and Bill 10 failed, I said the ghost of Bill 10 will haunt you. It has come to haunt you through Bill 7. And, my dear brother, elections are only a few months away. Can you instruct your Inspector General of Police? His duty is to safeguard the rights and freedoms of citizens. He cannot continue to stop opposition political parties from holding meetings with the people. His duty is to make sure that when people gather to meet and discuss politics, he provides security. He cannot continue to hide behind this veil of insecurity. It is his duty. He is paid by the taxpayers for him to provide security to the citizens, for people to go about enjoying their liberties. Can you please make sure that opposition political parties go about meeting the citizens, selling their messages? You can't limit us to selling our messages only through social media and through television. Allow us to interact with our people. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, President Lubinda. Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure having you.
The pleasure was mine. Thank you very much for having me. And thank you for the many beautiful questions that you asked. I hope that they have helped to clarify
the many questions that are still be hanging out there.